Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady, and I'm here to ask you today, do you like making gift tags? I love gift tags, and we're going to be using the Merry Christmas to All bundle today. This, let's see, where did it go? The Christmas from here and the Merry from this die set to make a gorgeous Christmas gift tag. This is the tag. My favorite gift tags to make are the large oversized gift tags. So just imagine this on a bag, a gift bag, or a pretty package, and how much this will add to that package. I will also be using this deer and one of these flowers from the Detailed Deer die set, the layering ovals. Layering ovals are one of my standards. I just have those. I use them all the time along with the circles and the squares. And this from the holiday catalog, it's the Swirls and Curls embossing folder. It might be Curls and Swirls. I'm not sure. It's one way or the other. This is one of my favorite folders, and I know it's a folder I'm going to go on to use even after this Christmas season. So like I said, this is the tag I'm going to make, and it's going to probably go on a teacher's gift. You know, these are great to dress up those gifts that aren't all that impressive, meaning it's a great gift, but it's probably not the, you know, the gift that is on the top of my list, but it's somebody that I want to let them know I care about them. So I have all my paper cut, and in the description below I have the link to this blog post where you can see all these sizes and of the paper that I've used. In fact, you can see all the supplies I've used in the description below and on my blog post for this. So I'm not going to go over each individual blog or each individual paper size because I have them listed. Now I'm using the All is Bright paper series for this. This is a piece of paper from that wonderful paper pack in the holiday catalog. And it's one of the papers that is really pretty. It's elegant, but I think a little less is more, meaning I didn't do a lot with that in the large pieces. This is a 3x6 piece of Whisper White cardstock. You could also use the thick Whisper White. That would give you a nice big card base. I do like the tagged or the clipped tags edges, and I'm using this as a long retired punch, and I would love if Stampin' Up would come back with something with just the snipped corners, but otherwise you could just snip them with a paper cutter. So this is my base for my tag. It's 3x6 inches. This piece of designer paper is just going to go right down the center of my tag. So I'm going to line this up and line this up in the center here. It's 2 inches by 6 inches. Do my best to get it centered. Sometimes I do better at that than others. Looks like when I cut it a little bit longer, so I'm just going to trim that off. Somehow, you know, even though I think I'm cutting it to the same, it still doesn't always end up there. Then I'm using a 1/4 inch circle punch just to punch that spot so that you can attach it to your gift. So that's my tag background, and that's all I'm going to do on that and set this aside. I have one little bit of stamping. This is mostly die cutting and a few other things. So this Merry Christmas to All set is a photopolymer set. So I have put the Stampin' Pierce pad underneath because that will give me a little more cushion with this. This piece of paper is, if I'm remembering right, 3 1/8 inches by 2 inches, and it's tiny because it's right to the size. So hopefully I can stamp it not crooked. Sometimes better. It's okay. Wasn't my best job, but you know what? It's straight enough. So I don't always cut them to size ahead of time when I'm just creating, but because I like to have them to size for my videos, it's interesting to make it smaller sometimes. I cut them down though if I'm doing it the other way. Okay, so now I need that lovely deer and the background. So let's put that jumping deer with the gorgeous antlers. And this is my piece of gold foil. And I'll bring in the Big Shot, and we're going to cut that. I will need my magnetic platform. So let me get this set up, get my sandwich set up. I have a magnetic platform with an acrylic plate, my gold foil, and the background with the layering oval and the jumping deer. I like to try to use the edges of my platforms because then you get a better cut. The middle gets used so much that it doesn't quite cut as well. So let's place that down in the Big Shot and then just roll that through. And I'm probably shaking my camera and everything. Okay, so that is my cutting. My favorite ways to remove the paper from my die is with just a really cheap toothbrush that I got at a dollar store. And I just kind of pounce down on it to pop out those pieces that I've die cut. So then we can set that aside. So now I need to move on to that. I'm going to pull my sample back in. I'm moving on to this gorgeous, gorgeous white embossed piece. So we can pull back in the magnetic platform. I have my Whisper White cut. And while I'm cutting this out, I'm also going to cut out a little flower from a piece of scrap Real Red. And this is my gold glimmer paper. I'm going to use a piece of the Sizzix sheet. This is a two-sided adhesive sheet that when I put it down on the back, got to get that cover off. I'm going to put this on the back of the gold glimmer sheet, and then I will already have adhesive right on the back of that piece of Mary when I run it through. So I'm just going to rub and burnish that on there. I will be running this glimmer one through a couple of times back and forth just to get a little more of the, it's detailed, it's tight, just to get a better cut. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of pounce this too. I like to do it through the die. It seems like it helps removing some of those areas that are die cut and should be cut out. But that came out really nicely. I think I'll use my tweezer here. I think there's, yep, the middle of that E needs to come out too. And that'll come out better once I get that adhesive sheet off the back. Okay, so got some paper scraps there. And then I want to do one more thing to this white oval. I'm going to use the Swirls and Curls folder, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot, but instead of the magnetic platform, I'm using the Big Shot platform and run that through. Okay, I didn't want a stark white oval, so I took one of our Stampin' Spritzers, and in here, I'm going to shake it while I'm showing you what I have in here. I have some rubbing alcohol. It's a high content rubbing alcohol, and some of the Vegas Gold all-purpose shimmer paint. And I'm going to spritz my oval here so that it'll have that subtle gold background and will not be quite as stark. I'm trying to get it mixed up really nice. And a little tip about the shimmer paint is that if you get too much paint, it's really only a couple of drops for a tube of rubbing alcohol, because if you get too much, you're going to clog that tip and it's not going to spritz as well. I have done that. So I'm speaking from personal experience, and I always like to test my my spritzer before, because inevitably I end up spritzing my face. I have it holding it the wrong direction and I'll spritz my face. One of the reasons you use rubbing alcohol is just because it'll dry more quickly than water, but I'm still going to need to speed this up a bit with my heat tool. So I'm going to heat this up, and then I'll be back. Okay, because of the embossing, you can see I have some lower areas or recessed areas, and it seems that the gold shimmer settled in those areas a little bit more, but I'm fine with that. I like that look. It gives my shimmer paper or my paper a little bit of a shimmer. It's not as stark white as the background. So now I'm just mounting this onto that oval that I cut, that gold oval, and I'm going to put that down. So I'm just going to start mounting or putting the pieces together. And while I'm putting these pieces together, I'm going to ask you to write in the comments who is somebody that you would do a tag like this for, so that to make their gift extra special or very pretty. I'd love to see that, because I have the people I do them for, and maybe there's somebody I'm missing. So fill that out down below. Okay, so I've removed that backing from, I'm going to move this up just a little bit while I'm putting it down. I've removed the backing from the Mary, so now that it will let this be stickier. And I'm going to place that down. Now, I must not have gotten it off the back of the bottom of the Y because it must have cut, because my paper wasn't quite the entire width of the paper. And that's okay, because that way, where it's sticking off or over the edges, then I don't have to worry about it sticking. And if it is sticking, all I need to do is take a little bit of embossing powder and just tap that on there, and it'll remove that tackiness. Okay, so I'm going to get back on to putting this all together with the gorgeous deer. I love that jumping deer. It has been one of my favorite dies from this set. And if I could pick it up over here, there we go. And put this down. Now that little flower, that little red flower I cut out, was cut out to embellish the neck of the deer. So we're going to just place this down. And it looks like my tag I'm putting together right now is a little bit higher than my sample, but that's okay. It'll all work. And so now I'm going to pick up that little red flower that we'll put on the neckline for this deer. One of my favorite things to do with these tags is actually to leave it pretty, a bag, you know, a gift bag, just leave it plain. And then this is the only embellishment. Okay, it might be because I didn't take the time to stamp the gift bag, and I was in a hurry, but we won't tell them that. It's just a simple way to decorate the bag. So I put one of those little gold pearls on there. It's just beautiful on there. So now the last thing I need to do for the assembly part here is to put down that Christmas. And as soon as I get this all put together, I'm going to show you the other tag that I've made. And the other one is the Making Christmas Bright set that I used. I also used this same paper and when I made that tag. Okay, so I'm putting just a piece of the gold metallic edge ribbon through here, and this is what I'm using to attach it to my gift bag. So I have a gift bag all set, but before I go on and do that, so there's my tag, beautiful gold embellishments. Here is the Making Christmas Bright tag I made. Same size, it's 3 by 6 inches. Different colors, it's a little more casual. This would be a little more elegant or fancy. A little more casual, but this paper actually comes in the same set as the All is Bright paper. And just use that link down below in the description to see this paper in my online store. So I have a gift bag that I've made with the gift bag punch board, and it's a rather tall one, but I'm just going to show you. Look at this. It's just a plain paper. I formed up that bag, and then I'm going to take, I want to put this one on the back side. This one goes on the top. And let's just tie this right around the center of the knot of the ribbon that I wrapped around the top of it. And then we'll just tie that, and I'll have extra little bows. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I have embellished that bag that makes this gift look extra special. All the supplies are down in the description. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, Chris, at mystamplady.com. And all the supplies in my online store at shopwithmystamplady.com. Thanks so much for watching, and have fun making your tags.